What is up, everybody? It is Rodak with Rodak's Revival, and what a great Supercross season it is. Yes, we do still have one more race to complete, but there were two championships on the line tonight. In the 250 class, you had Christian Craig, and in the 450 class, we had Eli Tomac going for his second championship, Christian Craig going for his first, but only one of them was able to clinch that championship. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into this race recap. So for the 250 class, you had Hunter Lawrence and you had Christian Craig 1 and 2 in points. Christian Craig needed to win this race to clinch that championship, and we got the race that we wanted. Coming out of the gate, Christian was pressuring Hunter. Hunter would pull away a little bit. It was a little bit of the slingshot effect, a little bit of the slinky effect, accordion effect, whatever you want to call it. But we had the battle that we wanted, at least for the first 5 to 6 minutes of the race. You could absolutely tell Hunter did not want to give that championship over to Christian Craig that easily, but you can also tell Christian Craig wanted to come away with that first championship and he wanted to end it today. But with an uncharacteristic move, at least this season, from Christian Craig, he ends up going down, going into the sand section. Looks like he got a little bit of wheel slide. The track was extremely dry. I don't even know if they could call that a pro track. I don't know why they allowed those guys to race on that. It was absolutely terrible. It was so dry. That's beyond the point. We could talk about that later on in the video. But Christian Craig ends up going down. Hunter Lawrence able to pull out to that lead. Christian would drop all the way back to 7th place. Now moving forward, Hunter Lawrence was able to stay in that lead with Michael Mosman in 2nd, but we know Christian, we know he's super fast. He's not going to settle for 7th and give up that many points to Hunter Lawrence and leave any chance next week in Salt Lake City. So he did put on a charge, came all the way back up to 3rd, had a little bit of a battle with Shimoda, and that was pretty much how the race was going to end. You had Lawrence out there with a pretty good lead, Mosman pretty good lead, and then you had Craig coming through in 3rd place. So obviously with Craig not winning that race, the championship does go to Salt Lake City. Now it is a pretty big points gap from Christian Craig over to Hunter Lawrence. It is 18 points, but anything is possible. There's everything from a crash to a fall over to a bike malfunction from a crash to where you can bend a brake rotor, you can break a clutch, anything can happen on the bike, or you could just crash and injure yourself and you're not even there to see it. So it is still alive. It is a small window of chance for Hunter Lawrence, but going into that last round, they are going to need that last round to separate who is going to be this 250 champion. So guys, leave it down in the comments below. Do you think Christian comes away? Do you think some miraculous thing happens and Hunter Lawrence comes away with it? Was that an issue of Christian Craig choking? For me personally, I don't believe it was. The track was super dry. Like I said, I think he just got a little bit of wheel spin and just ended up going down. So I don't think it was a product of him just choking under the pressure. I think he would be perfectly fine in that. But yeah, guys, your podium today was Hunter Lawrence, Michael Mosman, and Christian Craig. And like I said, leave your opinions down in the comments on who you think gets that championship. Now, guys, on to the story of the last 2 weeks. Will Eli Tomac clinch the championship early? Last week, we were all expecting it. He was up there up front and was running pretty good. Looked like he was going to battle for the win. Ended up stalling the bike and just kind of went into conservative mode. So the whole discussion went on to this week where it would be a lot easier for him to clinch that championship no matter where Jason Anderson finished. As long as Eli Tomac finished 14th, he was going to be your 2022 Supercross champion. And man, whether you are a fan of Eli Tomac or not, you have to love the fact that he was able to come out in front of his home crowd and race in front of his home crowd for this championship. Those guys were literally cheering him on every single section of the whole entire main event. That, to me, I just love to see that. Whether it was a guy that I don't like or a guy that I do like, you just love to see the fan support of a rider, especially in their home state. So coming out for that 450 class, you had Chase Sexton grabbing your whole shot, but closely right behind was Eli Tomac with a great start. You had Jason Anderson in 4th, and by the end of that first lap, he would make his way up to 3rd. And by midway through that 2nd lap, Chase Sexton makes a mistake, goes down, and Eli Tomac inherits your lead, and the crowd absolutely erupts. And even myself, being an Eli Tomac fan, I wanted him to get that race win, but I did not think he would go for it after seeing the track conditions going into that main event because it was so trash. I know I've said it like 3 times in this video already, but that was not very professional by the AMA. For me, I just didn't think so. It looked horribly maintained. Eli would then lead for about 4 or 5 laps. Jason Anderson would get on his back wheel, and Eli would just casually let him go by, as Eli should. I don't want Eli battling for that win. If all he needs is a 14th, just let Anderson go by. And for the rest of the race, that was pretty much the sentiment. You had Jason Anderson pulling out a big lead. Malcolm Stewart would eventually get by Eli Tomac for second. Marvin Musquin would then work his way by Eli for third. Chase Sexton would then work his way into 4th place after going down, passing Eli. Eli was just letting these guys go by and not battling for it. But as far as everybody else in the field, Jason Anderson was kind of checked out, and then Malcolm Stewart was like 5 seconds ahead of Musquin. Musquin was like 5 seconds, 6 seconds ahead of Sexton, and then Sexton was 5, 6 seconds ahead of Tomac. And that's pretty much how they ran for the rest of the race. You did have some other stuff go down. Justin Barcia was running 4th at one time, and he ended up going down and ended up finishing 7th place on the night. Cooper Webb in 6th, Eli Tomac in 5th, Chase Sexton in 4th, Marvin Musquin in 3rd. But all of those good rides by Jason Anderson, Malcolm Stewart, and Marvin Musquin would be overshadowed by Eli Tomac winning his 2nd AMA 450 Premier Class Championship in 2022. And man, I couldn't be any happier for Eli. Granted, it is his 2nd, it's not his 1st, but that first one he won was in 2020. We all know we were going through those COVID times. There were no fans in the stands. He had to do it in a completely empty stadium. He only had a few family members there and then the team. So it was great to see Eli be able to interact with the fans and hear the crowd roar, and especially doing it in his home state. I couldn't be any more happy for Eli. He had his kids there, he had his wife there. He was able to have everybody there. He said he gave out over 100 tickets to family and friends. It was just an awesome moment to see Eli come away with his 2nd championship. So guys, will we see Eli for 2023? Did he mark off everything off of his bucket list, or does he have some more unfinished business to go? Because I think it could be a great season. I want to see Eli back in 2023. Him and Jason can go back and forth and go head to head. I want to see Eli Tomac be able to climb those ladder of wins and get past Reed and get past Villapoto, and maybe even have a chance at catching James Stewart at 50 wins one day. But again, all credit and respect to everybody out there, and especially Eli Tomac. As you guys know, if you've watched the channel this year, I am an Eli Tomac fan. I have been a fan of Eli Tomac since James Stewart retired, so those have been my only 2 favorite riders ever growing up, so I am just super pumped. Super excited for Eli. Everybody said that he was past his hill. Everybody said he could have been past his prime. Makes a team change and goes out there and wins a championship in his very first year. I think all credit and all respect due to Eli Tomac. Even if you don't like the guy, even if he's not your favorite rider, you have to respect the fact that he went out there and got it done this season. One more time for your podium, you had Jason Anderson winning, Malcolm Stewart in 2nd, and Marvin Musquin in 3rd. Granted, we have one more race, but the 450 championship is locked up, but we do have an exciting round of racing still to go in Salt Lake City. I'm interested to see how these guys in the 450 class are going to race next week, but I'm also super excited because we still have one more championship alive, and that is between Christian Craig and Hunter Lawrence going into the final race of the season. Guys, what do you think will happen? Who do you think will come out with a championship next week? Did you guys enjoy the season? Just all those questions. If you have any answers or opinions to those, leave them down in the comments. And guys, if you liked the video, smash that like button. And if you can, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.